Okay, so we did steroids, and some of the background is that, well, we did anabolic steroids mainly, and so anabolic steroids are any drug or hormonal substance chemically related to testosterone, a male hormone that promotes muscle growth. And there are more than 100 varieties of anabolic steroids, but a limited number have been approved for humans and animals to use. And each requires a prescription in order to be used medically. And illegal steroids are usually smuggled in from other countries, and estimates show that there are more than $400 million worth on the black market sales of steroids per year. And they are mostly used for sports, but also they are used to alter physical appearance. And so if people have like body issues, it can do muscle growth, and it can also lose weight. And in 2001, it was found that about 2% of high school students used steroids in the past year. And some of the history is that it was created in the 1930s by a team of scientists to create a synthetic form of testosterone to help men who are unable to produce enough of the hormone. And so it was later found in World War II that it could help malnourished soldiers gain weight and improve performance. And then in 1956, it was used in the Olympics for high performances in wrestling. And they discovered this because there was insane performances. And so in 1975, steroids were banned by the International Olympic Committee, and then the black market sale of this was increased the following years. And in 1988, the first major federal regulation of steroids was introduced as a part of the Anti-Drug Abuse Act. And then the Congress passed the Anabolic Steroid Enforcement Act of 1990, which placed certain anabolic steroids on Schedule 3, which means they're restrictively sold, so you have to have a prescription for it, of the Controlled Substance Act. And today, illicit sales of steroids are still prevalent, and surveys show that adolescent use of steroids is on the rise, and that a great number of adults are actively using it. And some of the ways to use steroids, it's often taken intermittently, which means not all at once at the same time, and it's taken it's paused to take so the hormonal system can recuperate. But continuous use of steroids can decrease the body's response to the drug. And the main way to use it is injection, which is either directly into the bloodstream or the muscle. But there's also pills or gel tabs or creams rubbed directly onto the skin. And some of the users may take them in complex patterns known as pyramiding or cycling, when cycling refers to a pattern of use in which the steroids are taken for periods of weeks or months, after which the use is stopped for a period of time and then restarted. It's also called stacking, where users often combine several different types of steroids or incorporate other steroidal or non-steroidal supplements in an attempt to maximize their effectiveness. And ingested doses can range from 10 to 100 times higher than those prescribed for medical conditions. And legal status, in the United States, anabolic steroids are currently listed as Schedule 3, which I said before was that it requires a prescription, which makes simply possessing of such substances without a prescription a first offense, a federal crime punishable by 1 year in prison. Distribution or possession of this is punished up to 10 years in prison. And anabolic steroids are banned from all major sports, Major League Baseball, soccer, tennis, the Olympics, National Baseball Association, National Hockey League, and the National Football League. And some of the street names for steroids are Roids, Juice, Hype, Jim Candy, Arnold's, Stackers, or Pumpers.
Okay. Some short-term effects from anabolic steroids would be acne, oily skin, excessive hair growth, and a deepening of voice. And this happens in males and females. And you can have an increased risk of cancer, heart disease, and liver disease. And jaundice builds up, which is this yellow nastiness stuff that you don't want. And then fluid retention, that just means that it's harder for your body to regulate the water within you and the fluids that you get through your body. And the reduction in HDLC. HDLC is the good cholesterol that you need, so that could affect you later on. And an increased risk in high blood pressure and swelling in your extremities, and an increased risk of atherosclerosis and obstructive sleep apnea, which is when you struggle to sleep and you can't really get to sleep that well. And for men, baldness, you can gain breasts and shrinking of your testicles. So stay away from steroids. And in women, you can gain a lot more facial hair, and it disrupts your menstrual cycle, and you have a deepened voice, and you can become bald too. So women, don't take steroids. And it also affects your behavior patterns too. You become suddenly aggressive and like paranoid and filled with jealousy and irritable just to be around, and you can have delusions and impaired judgments because you feel invincible. So, and then the long-term effects of this is most of these side effects are irreversible. So you would have most of these like breasts and baldness for a long time, and it stunts your growth. It stunts the growth in adolescence, and accelerates puberty, and it you have it in like in a normal sexual development now, and you can get HIV or AIDS or hepatitis from steroids in long-term effect. Like Charlotte said, many people who take it are usually athletes or bodybuilders because it promotes muscle health and performance and enhances your looks. It's really harmful, but a lot of people now that you see it now is in baseball. There was a guy named Dylan G who was a Mets pitcher, and he just joined the advisory board of the Taylor Hooton Foundation, which is trying to persuade baseball players not to take steroids and is completely against the use of steroids. The Taylor Hooton Foundation was named after this baseball player. His dad runs it now, but his son committed suicide after being addicted to steroids, and he believes that the suicide was because of the steroids, because another long-term effect is that if you try to get off of steroids, you become severely depressed, and that could lead to suicide. And also, recently, Alex Rodriguez, he plays for the New York Yankees. It's also known as A-Royd, or A-Rod. But he had a 162-game suspension, and he's out for the entire 2014 season, regular and postseason. And he was a great baseball player. He right now he's actually suing the league because he doesn't believe they have the right to do that to him because he's taking steroids. And in 2009 he took steroids and he admitted to it, and now he's doing it all over again after he's been 3-time MVP and one of the most home runs of all baseball players. So it's kind of depressing to see an idol go down like that, especially since he won't admit to the fact that he is taking drugs to increase his ability.